So today I'm using our turkey from Thanksgiving to make some turkey tacos. I'm gonna make up some sourdough discard tortillas, but I'm making some turkey tacos, and then from that I'm going to make some turkey broth. And the awesome part about it this time is, I know several videos ago we made turkey broth before, but now we actually have a pressure canner. So I can actually can the broth instead of just leaving it in the fridge and hoping for the best. So I'm really excited about that. But I've gotten it started in the crock pot here. I gotta put the rest of the turkey in here to get it going. But Is that your package? No. But anyways, I gotta get the rest of the turkey that I have put in here and hope that it fits, because this is still frozen solid because it was in our freezer out in the building. So here's what we're working with right now. It's a bit too high for me to put the lid on, but I'm gonna at least top the lid over the top, like just set it on top. But as this cooks down, it'll close. But I'm just gonna add a little bit of water in there. Like I said, I am making broth out of this later, but I don't need too much water just for what I'm making today. That definitely doesn't fit, but it will later. I'm also making more donuts today. In our last video I made some, and today I am making some apple donuts. Not apple cider donuts, but just regular apple donuts. So I'm gonna peel and core these apples, and then I'm going to, I haven't decided if I'm gonna bake them or if I'm gonna boil them, but I'm gonna do one or the other. And then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna make up my dough, because the dough has to sit in the fridge for like 6 to 8 hours, no, 8 to 12 hours. And so I'm gonna make up the dough and let that sit, and then tonight or in the morning we'll have apple donuts. So I think it'll be really nice. Those donuts were really good, and some of them were kind of a little bit uncooked in the very middle. And again, I know that's just because the way that our, like how high the heat is on our cooker, like our stovetop. So I may, I do have like a little convection stovetop thing that might work a little better for that, but I have to use a certain pan, and that pan's not very big, but I think it would still work. And maybe I could use that on a lower temperature just to bring the boil up a little slower. I also have my Instant Pot, which I've never tried to like fry anything in it, but I assume it would work the same. It would just kind of be, I don't know, more tedious getting them out since it's a bit deeper than the pan that I had. But I don't know, I'll figure it out. But I am gonna do something a little bit different just so that they don't burn and they get fully cooked. I also thought about like baking them, but I like how they turned out when I did heat them in the oil. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I do have to come up with a plan for that, but at the very least we're gonna have apple donuts regardless of how they're cooked. So I decided to just go ahead and boil these apples, and so I'm just gonna boil them and let them get soft, and that way I can use them in the apple donuts. And I hope I'm doing this right, to be honest. I'm just kind of winging it and hoping for the best. I'm sure it'll be fine. So also remember to keep your apple peels and cores. I'm going to use it for, I think you use like apple jelly, whatever. This obviously is nowhere near enough, so I'm just going to put it in a used Ziploc bag. I had this used for flour that I was feeding my sourdough starter with, and I ran out of flour, so I'm just going to pop it in there. It's not dirty, it's just flour. It's okay. So I'm going to put them Are you eating my apple peels? But anyway, so I am going to put them in there and freeze those, and then by the time we, you know, have enough compiled up to make, oh, it got dark there, but finally once we have enough to make apple jelly, I'll do that. But this is nowhere near enough. letting our turkey broth cook and cook and cook, and we've added more water on top of it just to make sure that we're getting everything we can out of that whole turkey carcass. And there's still a good bit of meat left on the bones. I don't know what the texture of that meat's going to be, so depending on that, it's either going to be added into something like a pot pie or something in a soup, but we may end up giving it to the animals. We'll see. It just depends on the texture and if it's still good. But I'm gonna go ahead and strain it. We were gonna can it today, but we're running out of time. I have some errands to run in town today, so I just don't have time with, you know, setting up the pressure canner and all that stuff. So we're gonna put them into Ziploc bags, freeze it for tonight, and then we'll thaw it out again tomorrow. We'll either do it tomorrow or we're gonna do it Saturday morning. But either way, we'll take you guys along when we're doing it. But I can't just keep letting it sit here. So that's what we're doing for now instead of canning it. Got my nice bowl here. Hopefully this is gonna be big enough, but we'll see. If not, I'll just do it in batches. And I have this awkwardly shaped square strainer, which is perfect for my square pan that it goes with, but not perfect to fit in a round bowl. But I think it's pretty secure. It'll work. I have had this broth cooling for a while, but it is still very hot. And the crock pot itself is very hot. Thank you. It does smell really good. But yeah. But I think we've definitely gotten everything we can out of here. I did go ahead and add in some herbs. I've got fresh rosemary, some thyme, and salt and pepper. I added some carrots in there that we had. Ooh, that's hot. Added some carrots just for extra flavor. Look at the color of that broth. That looks good. Okay, I'm not going to let that bowl get too full because this is so hot. But I am, let's see, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I know you guys can't see how full that bowl is, but it's pretty full. I barely got any of the actual stuff from the turkey in it, but so I still have all this to strain off and get good broth from. But that's what we're working with right now. So I'm going to actually set you guys up here. I'm going to let this cool down a little bit. That way it's cool enough to actually go in the bags, so we're not melting the bags, and then do this batch. But I'm gonna leave it off because it is entirely too hot. So yeah, we're gonna let that cool down a bit and then we'll bring you guys back. This has cooled down a bit, and I'm just gonna skim this little layer off the top so that that's not in the broth. But I'm gonna add this over a pot of really cold water to let it cool down even more. You can see there are like little tiny things in there, and you can use a cheesecloth to strain that out if you want to. I don't care that it's in there, it's okay. So we're gonna leave those in there, but you can strain it off if you want. See, I'm just gonna fill this pot up and essentially do what you would do with a double boiler, but it's cold water. We don't have enough time to wait for it to cool down more, so I'm trying to just speed up the process a bit. And I guess technically this is a stock instead of just a broth. I don't think I filled that up enough. Oh, maybe. We'll add a little bit more water in there. I kind of thought the bowl was going to sit further down in there, but it didn't. But anyways, yeah, I guess this is more of a stock because we did use the bones and everything. But the, you know, technicality of terms, I guess. There we go. That's better. Maybe a little too much. Okay, so that'll speed up the process a little bit so we can get in that bag sooner. We're gonna try it really quickly because I actually haven't even tasted it yet. So yeah. I'm gonna try some.
Ooh. That's really nice.
Wait, you're supposed to keep your bias to yourself till I'm done. That's usually how we taste stuff. We stay silent until both of us have tasted it, and then we give our own opinions. Ooh, That is pretty good. The turkey that we're using was from Thanksgiving, and we had it frozen, and we smoked it. So you can definitely taste a bit of that smoky flavor in there, and that I do really like. It tastes really good.
What is that, hickory?
I don't remember. You smoked it. I don't remember. Okay, now for the turkey part, and hoping I don't spill this everywhere. Oh. I can't see how full it's getting. Okay, good. Perfect. Yeah, we'll close that one up. And now we get to strain out all the extra bits that we had left over. Oh, it is leaking. You had a good idea there. That wouldn't have been too fun. Here, let's set it up right there so it doesn't spill out there. That's not too great for the Ziploc bags.
What brand is the Walmart brand?
Okay. There you go. Freezer time. And now I'm going to go ahead and strain out the rest of the bits that we had left, which is all this. Woo. So while we're waiting for the turkey to drain, we have a lot of apples here that we need to use. So I'm just going to core these and we're going to make some applesauce. I thought about making apple jelly, but I think the kids would really like some applesauce. So that's what we're going to do instead. These are, I completely missed the end there. These aren't bad by any means, but they're a little bit softer than what I would like to eat. So that's why we're going the applesauce route rather than just eating them. Come on, seeds. Finally, that one wanted to be a pain. I was watching a video earlier making apple jelly without pectin, and I really do want to try that, but I'm going to wait till we get some more apples to do that. And speaking of, we've got to plan our apple orchard because we have no fruit trees planted. The only berries that we have here right now, which obviously they're not growing right now, but the plants are the blackberries. Yeah, we have some beauty berries, which we haven't harvested. But we have the blackberries and we have muscadines. But those were just already growing wild. So, as far as what we need to grow, I want to get some blackberries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. And the reason why I want to plant our own blackberries is because we just use a ton of them. And I can control where they go. I am bagging up all the cores, and I'm going to freeze them so that later, when we do have time and we're ready, we can make some apple scrap jelly. And if we don't have enough from today, then we'll just wait till we do. Chose not to peel these just to get the extra nutrients from the peels and also to save on time, to be honest with you. But we're doing this in the crock pot, that way we can just kind of set it and leave it. But you're going to add a cup of water to it, and then you're going to leave it on high for about 4 hours. And now I got to go chop some more. Once these have cooked for about 4 hours, I am going to add some honey to it just to give it a little bit of sweetness. But I'm not going to add anything yet. I just want to see how it tastes first. But depending on how it tastes, I'm probably going to add a little bit of honey at least. the last bit of our turkey broth or stock, whatever, is finally finished cooling. So we're gonna add it to the bag, and then the animals are gonna get a nice little treat. Unfortunately, the applesauce had to wait because our power went out yesterday afternoon and didn't come back on until late last night. So I had to go ahead and start it back up this morning, but I'm going to show you what it's doing so far. So I've let these cook for quite a while, and you can see all the juice in here that it's made, and that's just with that 1 cup of water. So 1 cup of water was definitely plenty. But these are all very soft now, so they're definitely soft enough to mash into applesauce. I'm gonna mash it up, and then I'm gonna taste it and see if it needs any honey. And if so, I will add some. I'm not sure. I think I have some cinnamon. I might add cinnamon to some of this for a cinnamon applesauce, but I'm not gonna do it to all of it. But it smells so good. Too bad you guys can't smell it, because it smells amazing, even just like it is. And it may be sweet enough with the apples, because they were a bit older, so it'd be plenty sweet enough maybe, but we'll see. As you can see, I did get all the applesauce canned up. I didn't actually like process it in a canner just because these are going to go very quickly. Almost all the kids have tried them and love them. And the kids that haven't tried them, I'm sure they're going to love it too. And so these are going to go very quickly. I can already tell. Whenever I have a larger batch that doesn't quite go, I'm going to have to close the door because he's snoring too. But whenever I do get more apples, usually when we get apples, we get a lot of them at one time. So whenever I have a time where I get a batch of like a ton of them, I'll probably can some up then, but just not right now. I did also want to show you guys us canning the turkey broth in this video, but it's just not gonna make it in. I don't have time right now. I have to go get started on tortillas, and I've already started the next week's video for you guys. So I will include it in that one, but I just don't have time today to get to it, so it's not happening in this video. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching. But if you haven't yet joined our channel, we would love for you to hit that subscribe button and come say hi in the comments.